Good morning, everybody. I decided today we're not going to do any down dogs. Just heads up if you're waiting for them. They're not happening today. So we're going to start laying on our back. You can just start with the legs either extended or bent with the knees up, whichever feels comfortable for you. Coming to a resting position. You can close your eyes. Start to tune in with your breath. Just settling into this time and space, checking in with yourself. Noticing if there are variations in your breath, if it's in a certain place in your body. And let the focus on the breath help you land in your body, noticing any sensations or any places of numbness as well. Can also be informative. And if you don't have your legs extended yet, you can extend the legs long away from you and just pull the right knee into the chest, giving it a hug, giving it a squeeze, and start your own creative movement with the leg, maybe circling in the hip socket or jiggling, moving side to side, any way to kind of wake up that hip and start to bring some space into the joint. So today I want to focus on softening the core, softening the central part of our body that is often the place of power, which can be really amazing in our hips, our abs, but being able to find fluidity there can help us be stronger and find better balance, be more centered. So already here, breathing deep down into the belly, into the hip socket, imagining a lot of air, a lot of space coming into that ball and socket as you move it around. First time you put it on, see like. And then let's clasp the hands behind the knee or on either side of the thigh and start to straighten and bend the leg. Starting a gentle stretch into the hamstring. See if you can map it to your breath already. So inhaling as you kick the foot up to the sky and exhaling as you bend the heel back towards the sit bone. And the higher you hold on the leg, the closer you can pull the leg towards the chest if that feels good. But already checking to see if you're losing the sensation in your core. If you're gripping by your psoas, by your hip flexor, let the leg come further away from your chest so that you can still breathe really deep into the belly. You can add a point and flex to the foot as well, pointing the toes as you extend the leg, flexing the foot as you bend it down to wake up the ankle as well. Nice. The next time that your knee is bent, keep it bent. Grab the knee with the left hand and pull the leg over the chest, coming into a twist. So the knee can fall towards the ground while your right shoulder is still opening up towards the sky, falling down with gravity. Just let everything fall into the twist. With the right fingers extended long out, start to make a big circle up overhead. So raise the right hand above the head until the right shoulder comes off the ground and starts to stack over the left, and the fingers continue tracing down until they're in front of the knee that's bent, and then circle right back. So you're tracing a big rainbow up overhead, opening the chest, stretching the pec, and then tracing it back, softening the ribs as you roll one direction and the next. You can keep the fingers on the ground. And the head is just along for the ride as well, rolling to one direction. We've got Puppy joining us. So mapping the circles with the breath. Let's go one more time this direction. And leave the arm open. And start to drop the right hip back onto the ground, finding evenness in the hips. And open the right knee out to the side. So you can use the right hand to pull it open, stretching the inner thigh. Maybe pulling the knee closer to the armpit if that feels good, further away. And then bring it back to center, let it go long, and pull the left knee into the chest. First, giving it a hug, a squeeze, and doing your own exploration of that hip. Circling around. I love to feel the weight of the leg falling down into the hip socket to kind of stretch out my SI joint on the back. And can you still breathe deep into the belly? As your sternum stop, you can imagine there's a bar of chocolate that could be melting on your sternum, falling down, wide across the chest. And then let's clasp the hands behind the thigh, behind the knee, and start to straighten and bend the knee. And we don't have to straighten all the way. Again, this is just as far as we can go while keeping a softness in our core. Since we have the support of the ground to hold us laying in this position, we don't need to grip anything. We're starting to stretch into the hamstring. You're good. And then at the point and flex, pointing the toes up as you stretch the leg, flexing the foot back down as it comes towards your sit bone. Are you bringing tension to anywhere else that you don't need? Maybe in the jaw, maybe in the right hip. Let's bend the knee back down. Grab the knee with the right hand and pull the whole leg over the body, coming into your twist, extending the left arm out to its own side. First, just letting the exhale pull you down, pulling the knee, the left knee and the left armpit in opposition. You can imagine the knee being pulled away from the body. So even here, we want to picture space in the hip. So if it feels like you're crunching in the hip, you can always lower the knee further away from you. Now let's start to make those circles, tracing the hand up overhead until the shoulders start to stack one on top of each other, hand coming down in front of the face. And then circling back around, opening up to its own side. Folding in and folding back out. Rolling over the side ribs. Head is gently rocking, so getting a little massage on the back of the head as well. Nice, let's do this a few more times. Next time that your arm is out to its side in the twist, stay there. And then start to heavy down through the left hip, rocking back to center. Let's bend both knees this time so that the heels are right under the sit bones, knees up to the sky. And bring your hands onto the bony points of your hips so that you can feel the evenness between sides. Inhale into your hands. Exhale, start to lift the hips up into the hands, both sides pressing up at the same time. And then lower the hips back down to the ground. Lift the feet off of the ground, extending both feet up, flexing the feet like you're standing on the ceiling. And then let them just step down together. Lift the hips into your bridge. Lower the hips, and then lift the feet. So we're using the fronts of the legs and then the backs of the legs, like we're walking. Just trying to find symmetry between the right and the left. If you want, you can roll down the spine, or you can just find one piece with the torso as you lift into your bridge today. So moving from one to the next with your breath. This can be super slow. It's nice just to see kind of where your feet fall, that they naturally want to fall in line with the hips. Let's do that one more time, lifting the feet. And then this time, drop them a couple inches further away from you. Lift up into your bridge. So now the hamstrings have to work a little bit harder. Lower the hips right back down. I like, we're extending the feet back up, stacking the feet over the knees, over the hips. This time, let the feet fall a couple inches further away. So we're walking the feet out, lifting the hips, stretching the spine up, stepping up onto the ceiling, extending the knees, lifting the legs. This time, let them fall even further away. So your abs have to work a bit to step further away, almost to the edge of your mat. There's not much of a bend in the knees, and lift the hips up here. So let's try to stay in this really long bridge. Breathing into the hands, but finding lots of length on the back of the body. Pressing into the heels of the feet to help you balance. And breathing soft into the sternum. I'm already shaking a little bit, so the shake is good. See if you can stay up. 2 more breaths. Imagining this long arch of the whole body rising up off of the floor. Once you complete those 2 breaths, slowly lower the hips down, pull the knees into the chest, and give yourself a hug. And rock side to side, massaging the hips. Then you can extend that grip, and let's bring the legs into a tabletop position. So knees over hips and feet away from us. So we got 2 90-degree angles here. You can keep your hands on your torso if you want to feel how your abs are doing, or you can have your arms long, fingers extended away from you, palms on the ground. So here we're still able to breathe into our core. If you feel like you're gripping too much, you can bring your feet down and just lift one leg and then the next. Or if you're feeling comfortable here, let's start to tap one toe down and then the next. So trying to maintain that 90-degree bend at the knee, tapping the toe, and then lifting it to be right next to the other leg. Is your chest trying to help you? Is your jaw trying to help you? Now we're waking up those core muscles. Beautiful. Okay, this one's slightly funny, but a modification on this. We're gonna add an internal rotation of the bottom leg. So see if you can track the knee down the same direction it was going, but tap the toe to the outside of the mat when it taps down. And then picking it back up to its neutral parallel line. Internally rotating the leg as it taps down, and then coming back to parallel. So see how this feels different on the hip flexors? It might help you disengage that main hip flexor right on the front. Actively twisting the leg so we're feeling those rotator muscles in the hips. Nice. And then come back to your normal toe taps on the center line. Let's do 2 each direction. And then bring the feet back down once you complete those. Right under the hips, just stepping down onto the ground. Take a big breath into the belly. Exhale through the mouth. One more time. Inhale into the belly. Exhale through the mouth. Take the palms of your hands and press them into the hip flexors. See if you can give some traction to the hips to pull the legs away from you. And then release that. Bring the hands behind the head. Lift the elbows slightly so they're in your peripheral vision. Inhale to have more length through the spine, imagining you're reaching up through the crown of the head. Exhale, curl the head, neck, and shoulders up off of the ground. Do a small crunch. So we're looking at our belly button. Inhale here. Exhale, lift the legs back to the tabletop. Inhale, feel like you're lifting the knees higher. So you're crunching in the core. And then let's twist into our bicycle. So extending the left leg long, left elbow comes towards the right knee, but the right leg stays right where it is. And then back to center. So really slowly going side to side, then extending the left leg, twisting in opposition. So whenever the leg extends, we're breathing more space into the hips. We're imagining that puff of air through all of our joints. And the opposite hip, so if I'm extending my left leg, I might feel like the whole body wants to fall into the weight of the right hip. So you can imagine for that extended leg, there's like a soft, cute animal on your hip, a kitten or a puppy or something, that's giving some weight into that hip, but a really soft, comfy weight. So it's maintaining that evenness from side to side while the vision twists. We have a lot of space in the armpits as we reach the armpit up to the knee. And we're breathing as we're going back and forth. Great job, everybody. One more time to each side. Once you're done with that, gently lower the head and center, let the knees fall in, give yourself a hug. Let's start to rock and roll up and down the spine, coming up to your seat. Take your time. If it feels good to roll on those muscles on either side of the spine. And you come all the way up into a seat. Fix your hair, feel like me. And let's make our way all the way to a tabletop here, actually. So bringing our wrists under our shoulders, knees under our hips. All right, good. All right, so we're flipping our orientation all the way around. You can move side to find that stacking of bones, making sure you're really in the middle of your joints. You can also measure off your tabletop by flipping your fingers to touch and then swiveling the fingers back on the palms of the hands. That's normally the measurement it takes for the hands. And then once you settle in center, let's start to move through some cat-cows. So exploring as you will what feels good for you today, but always moving with your breath. So feeling the speed that your body is called to go at. Noticing what part of your body you're called to initiate with. Maybe feeling the core a bit more since we just did that work. Noticing what wants to be stretched, what wants to be strengthened. And then as you notice those habits, also taking a moment to challenge those habits. So if you're going really slow, maybe trying to speed up. If you're going faster, maybe going slower. If you always close your eyes, maybe open your eyes, or the other way around to go more internal. Check that you're pressing down through the tops of the feet. So the whole body is engaged here. And let's come back to our neutral spine. So the crown of the head is reaching away from the tailbone. And then let's extend the right toes onto the back of the mat. So extending the knee, but keeping the toes on the mat first. And let's just give a little rock forward and back. So we're stretching the bottom of the foot. Checking that the leg is parallel, it's turned in. So the right hip is wrapping down to the ground. The pinky toes are still touching the ground. And then slowly come out of the rock as it gets smaller and smaller. So we're stacked over our wrist still. And let's lift the foot up off of the ground. Still maintaining that inward wrap. So notice even here if you started to externally rotate the leg. So now the core has to pull in opposition to gravity as we still imagine length through the spine. And now we're going to move through our cat-cow spine with one leg, adding in. So as we drop the belly, lift the gaze, you can let the knee bend behind you, like you're going to tap the top of your head with your foot. Probably not going to happen. And then extend the leg long as you come through neutral. And as you curl into your cat, bend the leg in like you're going to tap the knee to the nose. Coming to neutral, reaching everything away, extending the knee long, and then arching as you bend the knee behind you. So moving with the breath back and forth. So adding this kind of scorpion tail of the leg adds a lot more range of motion to our cats and our cows. One more time on this side, arching back, and then curling everything under, pulling the knee towards the nose. Extend it long, coming into our neutral spine, and then lower the right knee down to center. Let's take a break from the wrists, so sit back on the heels for a second. Let's flip the palms and stretch the wrist so the fingers come 180 degrees around. And let the neck go too if you want to do some circles in the head. In the other direction, you're circling. Bring the weight off of the wrist, give them a little shake. And come back to our tabletop. Measuring off again if you like. And this time bring the left toes long, still on the mat, rocking back and forth as we lift the kneecap up, finding length through the leg, stretching the bottom of the foot. And let the rocks get smaller and smaller. Once they dissipate, start to lift the leg up using the hamstring. So the toes are still reaching down. The left hip is wrapping down as the right hip is kind of plugging in. Let's drop the belly, lift the gaze, bend the left knee like we're going to tap the top of our head and extend everything away. Exhale, curl knee to nose, pulling the spine up, pressing down into the hands. Extend long, so now we're moving back and forth between our two directions, our scorpion and our cat. And let the breath help you. If you need to add your Ujjayi breath, you can add that as well, or any kind of audible breath. Great job, everybody. One more time. Pulling knee to nose. Finding your neutral spine with one leg and then lowering the knee down. This time, let's pull back to our child's pose. You can come into your seed pose with your hands wrapped around your thighs, reaching back for your feet if you wish, or leave the arms out, extended long. Breathing deep into the belly to feel the press of your torso into your thighs. And then as you exhale, let everything fall further. Count out 3 full rounds of breath from here. And once you're done with those 3 breaths, roll up to a seat. So we'll all meet sitting up. We're going to do 2 more things for our arms. One is just push-ups. So we have 2 options. I'm going to keep my knees on the ground, but walking my hands forward until my hips are in line with the knees and shoulders. Or if you want to come into a full plank, you're always welcome to. Let's inhale to find length in the spine. Make sure that your head is reaching long. And then exhale as you pull the elbows in towards the ribs. So let's only go down halfway or even less. And then press down through all the fingers. So let's try to do 5 wherever you are. Taking your time, feeling width across the collarbones. And once you're done with those, if your knees are high, you can drop them down. Again, walk back to just sit on your heels. Let's bring the arms out to the side. Drop the right thumb down, twist the left thumb back, and then switch the direction, twisting the other direction. So the left thumb twists down, the right pinky fingers twist up. So let's twist back and forth, spiraling through the arms. If you had a long towel that you're wringing out, you can let the shoulders drop forward and back. Imagine there's a lot of length through the arms, so you're really reaching out through all of the fingertips. Let's do 2 more, flipping back and forth. Check in with the rest of your spine to make sure you're not crunching into your lower back or into your neck. You have a fluid line there as well. Once you complete your next breath, bring both palms up. Inhale high, exhale, let the hands drop down slowly to the sides. Let's walk the hands forward. Okay, to get to the next thing, we'll go through downward facing dog. I love. Let's tuck the toes, lift the hips. And just take a stroll to the top of your mat, coming to your forward fold. Let everything hang over, gentle bend in the knees. Let's check the spacing of the feet. So the feet should be about 2 fist widths distance between the arches, stacking under the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on the shins, pulling the shoulders down. Exhale, forward fold. Let's do that a couple times. Inhale, halfway lift, feeling the body parallel to the ground. Exhale, forward fold. Going at the speed of your own breath. Inhaling to lift. Exhaling to lower. 2 more times. Inhaling to lift. Exhaling to lower. Next time you're fully exhaled over, bend the knees, drop the hips, sweep the arms up to your chair, looking forward, pinkies wrapping in towards each other, anchoring down through the tailbone, feeling the weight between all 4 corners of the feet, so you're balanced in between the feet. We're not rocking into the heels or into the toes. And then let's shift our weight into the left leg. Pull the right knee up like you're crunching your knee to the nose, and then wrap the leg over the left knee, coming for your eagle bind, so the toes can either perch onto the ground or twist all the way around the leg. Let's inhale, breathing into the armpits. Exhale, sweep the right arm under the left. Eagle bind in the arms so the palms can come to touch, or the backs of the palms can come together. How's your spine? How's your breath? Can you sit a little bit lower? Can you soften the gaze towards the hands? Maybe lift the elbows up slightly to stretch the upper back some more. And invite wobbles into your balance if they're coming. If that's what's happening today in your practice, that's totally okay. Let's unwind the arms, but keep the legs for a moment. Start to lift the top knee up towards the chest so you can slide it open and drop it down to the side, coming into your figure four stretch, flexing the top foot to really protect the knee. The shin muscles should be engaged. The hands can come to heart center if you like. You can sit a little bit lower to stretch the outside of the right hip. You can always grab onto something here if you want to help with your balance. There's no shame in that. If you would like to bend forward so much so that your elbows touch the shin, you can do that too to increase the stretch. Can you soften the left ankle a little bit more? Can you still breathe deep into your belly? Beautiful. If you've bent the torso over, slowly start to rise up and then pull the knee forward and slowly lower the foot down to the ground. Finding the weight between both feet, standing tall. Just start to notice how the effort in the left leg starts to dissipate. Let's inhale, sweep the arms out to the side and up. Exhale, bow down over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, back down. Bend the knees, drop the hips, sweep the fingers along the ground and up to your chair. Widening the shoulders. Softening the fronts of the ankles, checking that the knees are tracking over the toes. And then shift the weight into the right foot. Lift the left knee up into the chest, crunching the core, and then gently lay the thigh over the right. Twisting your legs into the position that's working for you today. Inhale to reach up through the hands wide in the ribs, and then sweep the left arm under the right. Again, taking those options of palm to palm or backs of the hands together. Lift the elbows a little bit higher. Sit the hips a little bit lower. And as those reach in opposition, imagine they're pulling your spine in opposition too. Can you soften your jaw a little bit more? Can you breathe into the back ribs? Unbind the arms, either bring the hands to heart center, just down by the side for now, and slowly pull the left knee out to the side, coming to your figure four. Check that the toes are pulling back, laying the leg above the knee, and then bending forward if you wish, or standing taller is totally fine. So we're going for a stretch in the outside of the left hip, grabbing onto a prop, or letting the hands come all the way down to the floor is also something you can do here. So even in a challenging balance, I want us to keep coming back to how we can soften the core, how we can breathe deep into the belly, how that can pull or focus our mind into a softer state, into noticing the sensations that are arising. One more breath. And then slowly lift out, lifting the chest and then lifting the knee so the foot can find the floor. And finding yourself in the middle of the feet. Have a gentle bend in the knees, feeling the back of the pelvis heavying down so the front can lift up, softening through the sternum. Feeling power in the back of the heart so the shoulders can open up to the side. Feel a lift at the top of the ears and the back of the neck. Let's inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, back down. Sit down into our chair once again. Sweep the arms up. This time, shift the weight into the left leg right here and extend the right toes behind you so they're completing this diagonal line with the spine. And then try to keep that in one piece, the back leg and the torso, and start to tip over the left leg. So coming into a warrior three with a bent knee on the bottom, if we can maintain that. So there's some more strength in our thigh. The outer right hip is still wrapping down. The outside of the knee is wrapping down. Kicking back and reaching out. If you don't come all the way over into a T, that's fine. Just finding length in the leg and the torso. Deep breath. Bend the bottom knee a little bit more and start to slowly lower the back foot to the back of the mat, coming to your high lunge. Lift the torso, lift the arms. And let's drop the hands into a frame around the face, so grabbing opposite elbows. So we can shine the chest through the frame, softening the arms. Kicking off the back foot so the energy is arching forward and up. You can start to look up slightly into your crescent. And then let's drop the back heel, open the arms, warrior two. Let's straighten the front leg, pull the back hip further back, reach the front arm further forward and tip over to your triangle. Where can you bring more effort and where can you bring more ease? So find something that you can let go of. Maybe something as small as the jaw, if your toes are gripping. And something that can become more powerful, maybe the reach of the arms, pulling up the back kneecap. And let's lower the gaze towards the front foot. Drop both hands around the foot. You can bring a gentle bend in the front knee so that you can step the back foot up, maybe a 1 foot's distance, turning the toes more forward. So we're in our pyramid pose. Now both hips are kind of squaring off, dropping down. Inhale, lift the gaze. Find more length through the spine, blooming the chest forward. Exhale, bow down over the leg, folding a little deeper. Inhale, press through the hands. You can bring the hands onto the shin too if you need more height. Exhale, bow down over the legs. One more time, lifting up on the inhale. Exhale, lower a bit further. Gentle bend in both knees, step the back foot to meet the top, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale down. Right here, let's sweep right back to our chair, sitting the hips low, reaching the hands high. Shift the weight into the right leg, extend the left toes long. Taking a long diagonal all the way from the toes, the heel, through the hips, the sides of the ribs up to the fingers, and keep the bend in the right knee as you start to tip over towards your warrior three. Check that there's space between the ears and the shoulders. Wrapping the outer leg down, so wrapping the outer knee towards the inner knee on the left leg. Really good job, everybody. One more deep breath. Feel like as you bend the lower leg, you can have that space go into the torso and the legs so you can reach even further, slowly lowering the back foot down to the ground, lifting the torso and arms up. Keeping the heel high, so our leg is still parallel here. Drop the arms into your frame. If you remember which way you went, you can flip it here. Soften the arms, widen the space between the ears and the shoulders. Inhale as the chest shines forward through the arms. Really lift up through the back kneecap. You can lift the heel higher over the ball of the foot to shoot the weight into the front leg, really bending it deep. And as you pull the weight forward, let the arch soften on top as you curl in towards your crescent. Let's drop the back heel, open the arms, warrior two. Opening the hips up to the side, chest up to the side. The gaze is still reaching over the front fingers. Straighten the front knee, pull the left hip back, right fingers forward, bend the torso over the leg, finding some kind of support under that right hand in your triangle. Imagine you're wrapping the right lung under the left. So we have a slight spiral in the spine here as the gaze starts to turn up to the top hand. And lower that gaze back towards the right foot. Lower both hands around the feet. Gently bend in the knee so you can step the back foot in about 1 foot so you can find that triangle with the legs into your pyramid. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the gaze. Exhale, round down over the leg, forehead coming towards the knee. Inhale to find length. Exhale to deepen into the hamstring stretch. One more time. Waving the spine down over the leg. Take a full breath here. And bend the knees so that you can step the back foot to meet the front, top of the mat forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up to the side so you can stand up, reaching the arms high. Exhale, lower the hands down towards center, down by the sides, coming into your Tadasana, mountain pose. Now shift the weight into the left leg, lift the right, clasp the hands behind the knee. So just like we did at the very beginning of class, give a little wiggle. See if you can find more fluidity in the hip, so letting the weight of the leg fall into the arms. And start to kick through the foot, like you could stand on the wall in front of you, and then bend it back down. Straightening the leg, or coming towards straight and bending it back down. So again, it doesn't have to straighten all the way. Still want to keep breath in the torso. One more time, kicking forward and bending it down. Let the foot come down, shifting to the other side. Standing in the right foot, bending the left, clasping behind the knee. First, starting with any kind of little wiggles that you want. Maybe pulling the knee closer to the chest and further away. And then find the knee parallel. Extend the foot long, kicking away from you, and then bending back down. See if you can keep your hips right where they are as you extend the foot away. So if they start to tuck under, don't extend any further than that, and back out of it slightly. Bending back in, one more time, kicking long. And bending back in, release that leg. Shifting to the other foot, once again, bringing the weight into the left foot. Let's pull the knee back up. So you can come back to the same clasp where we were and extend the leg here, or you can reach the arm, the right arm, to the inside of the knee and the outside of the foot. You can bring your left hand onto the left hip to notice where it is and kick into the hand instead. So let's all kick the foot away from us, feeling a long spine. So you can bend the knee to pull the foot in closer. And stay for 3 full breaths in this balance. If you fall, it's totally okay. Sometimes it's nice to fall to notice how easy it is to just come back. Once you've completed your 3 breaths, you can gently bend the knee and let the foot find the floor. And get a little shake. Going to the other side, lifting the left knee, either finding the clasp behind the knee to extend it long or reaching the arm to the inside of the knee, outside of the foot, and kicking into the hand. So the toes are reaching up. The shoulder is pulling back. So we have symmetry in our upper torso. 3 full long breaths if you can. If you want to grab onto something here too for your balance, that's a good choice. Once you complete your breaths, you can gently let the knee bend, leg come down. Let's find the hands on top of the knees. So we're bending forward. That's what I call my football pose. So you can kind of just let the whole torso fall into the hands for a moment. See how we can release the backs of the legs, let everything rest. We let the head fall too. Letting your skeleton support your weight here. And let's press into the hands so that we lift the head back up, widening the shoulders. Inhale, arch the back, lift the gaze towards your cow spine. Exhale, curl the spine under for your cat. Inhale back and forth between your cat and cow spine. And feel the difference of doing this standing versus in our tabletop. So the pelvis can move a lot more here. You can enjoy that freedom as it can curl all the way under. Going at the speed of your breath. So let's stand all the way back up. Shift the weight into the left foot, bend the right. Here again, coming up from the easiest modification on, we can clasp under the thigh or reach this time with the left hand to the bottom of the foot. So either way, let's extend the leg long. If you have the bottom of your foot, start to open the right arm out to the side. So we're twisting towards the thigh. If it feels like too much and you still have the hands under the knee, you can just twist the the shoulders to the side, or still just open the right hand. So you can have that bend in the knee. Wherever we are, we're pulling the organs towards the thigh, twisting everything in and up. So feeling the spiral in the spine, shooting up, breathing across the chest. If this feels sustainable for you, you stay for 3 full breaths, wherever you can find your balance. Breathing into the belly. Once you complete those breaths, gently bring the chest back to center, lower the foot. Give a little wiggle. Shake it out. Flipping to the other side. So try to go to the same modification that you took on that side. Shifting the weight into the right leg, lifting the left, either bending the leg or reaching this time the opposite hand to that bottom of the foot to kick into it. So the leg is staying parallel, and then we're twisting the arm in opposition, bringing the torso closer to the thigh. Reaching the hands behind you if you can, or opening the left shoulder wide. And now start to count to 3 breaths. Grounding down into the bottom foot, lifting up through the crown of the head, softening the jaw. Twisting a little bit deeper on every exhale. And gently lower when you've finished counting. Nice job, everybody. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bow down over the legs. Gently bend the hips and the knees so that we can sit all the way down onto the mat. Let's bring the right leg long, pull the left foot so that you can seal the inside bottom of the foot. You can see what I'm doing. Opening the knee out to the side so we can find that kind of butterfly position with the left leg. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, bow over the front leg. Let's do one. Inhale, reaching the gaze forward, pressing into the hands. Exhale, bow down a little bit further. Let everything hang over. You can reach for the foot, for the shin, or just have the hands on either side of the leg. Whatever feels good for you today. If you want to have a gentle bend in the knee, you can. If that, you can try it and see if that brings a softening into the hip, into the belly. Even if you can do it with a straight leg, it's sometimes really nice to bend it. Now here, let's count to 5 with our breaths. So don't let me rush you, but when you're done with 5, just roll up to sit tall. Once you've rolled up to your seat, we'll just switch legs. So extending the left long, pull the right knee in and let it fold out to the side. Bring the inside of the foot to the inside of the thigh, flexing the left foot, just one of those. Inhale the hands high. Exhale, bow down over the leg. Inhale to wave up through the spine. Exhale to wave down, releasing the back of the leg a bit more. Finding the hands where they can best support you. Checking that both hips are still on the ground, are both weighted evenly. So if one starts to come up a bit more, you can imagine that cute little puppy hopping onto your hip. Now let's count to 5 with our breath. Don't let me rush you, but once you finish that round, extend both legs long and roll all the way onto your back, coming into your Shavasana. Letting the feet relax out to the side. Palms can be up to the sky or on your torso if you'd like some feedback. Maybe bringing a hand onto your heart center and onto your belly. Imagining everything melting down, melting across the floor, the earth. And we'll take one moment to just let the body be breathed. Start to deepen your breath. Bringing your mind back into your body if it's wandered. And let that breath start to bring some movement back in, waking yourself back up. And taking your time, you can start to come onto one side, rocking your way into a heel position if you're ready. And walking your way all the way up to a seat. Finding your tall spine. If you're still laying down, that's fine. So wherever you are, let's bring one hand onto the heart and one hand down onto the belly. Let's take a big breath first into the top hand. If you can take another sip of air, filling down into your belly. And let everything out through the mouth. And inhale first down into your belly, bringing your focus deep, lower in the torso. Then add a little sip of air into the top hand, into your heart. Let everything out through the mouth. Bow your head to your heart. Thank yourself for your practice today. for all of your effort and all of your ease. And thank you so much for letting me guide you in this practice. It's such a pleasure. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments or requests or anything. Thank you, thank you, thank you.